Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Kareen. I hope you're all doing really well today. Today we're going to be making a very simple shaker card. I thought it'd be kind of fun. I got these new watercolor brush markers from I believe it's Arteza, something like that. Anyway, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to have a play, kind of give you a show of that. But what's really cool, I'm kind of hiding it here, is that out of this, you get a twofer. Look at that. You know, I do love a twofer. So you get the main panel, so which is the shaker card, shake, 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 right? So you get the main card. And then from what you cut out, you can create a really cute little secondary card. So you get a twofer, which, you know, if you're going to go to the effort of doing everything, it's always nice to have the extra part of it. Okay. So essentially what you need for this is you're going to need some small acetate. So even just some packaging. So this is just a teeny tiny little piece of acetate here that I'm going to be using. And you will need, so I did a happy birthday one. The one that I'm going to demo today is using Yay You. So it's going to be like a celebration card kind of thing. But you need a sentiment die that has the shadow, because that's what you're going to cut out in order to create the frame for your for the card. Okay. So those are the main components of what you're going to need. So I'm just going to put these to the side here. What I've done on this second one, just to add some texture and stuff like that, is I just took a card panel, cut it down. So these are standard A2 sizes, so 4¼ by 5½. So I cut my panel down to 4 inches by 5¼ and then just ran it through with a 3D embossing folder. In fact, the one that I used on this one is Geometric Lattice by Simon Says Stamp. That's that one. And then I've prepped the next one. This one is called Circle Rings by Simon Says Stamp. That's going to be really pretty as well. So those are what I was using for the simple background. Okay, so we're going to get started. So what you're going to need is some watercolor card. I'm just going to put this to the side so I don't lose it again, because I did lose it earlier. So I have my watercolor card is nothing special. It's actually from the dollar store, from Dollarama here in Canada. There's a very textured side on one side and then quite a little smoother on the other side. So that's the side that I'm going to use. And these are my new pens. I got them for Christmas, but I finally broke them out and have been playing with them a little bit. I did some swatching. You guys may have seen my last video for the organization thing. So this is all of the colors that came in my set, and I'm really in love with them. They're just so pretty. So I thought, oh, let's use those. And so that's what I'm going to do. Now, there's a couple of different ways of using these. What I'm going to use these as is. That's not great language. So basically, you can see here, it's got a very fine tip. It's kind of like a paintbrush, but it is a little bit of a what's the word that I'm looking for here? A little bit more like a foam, so it's not quite as delicate. But I'm just going to take this. So I'm just going to create another rainbow. So I'm just kind of drawing the color onto my watercolor cardstock. Okay, or watercolor paper. It's not even cardstock. So it's not going to go on super thick, which is okay. So that color, so this was rouge pink. This one is going to be red. And I'm just kind of going to butt them up against each other here. This one is called orange. And I'm just going to go in, obviously, in rainbow color order. This one is lemon yellow. A little bit more color down. And I'm going to come in a little bit so that I've got more space there. This one is light green. Bringing in the green. Like that. And it doesn't have to be a super good coverage because I'm going to come in with my water afterwards here. So this is sapphire blue. Such a pretty blue. Such a pretty blue. Okay. Sapphire blue. This one is eggplant purple. Purple. And then bringing in light magenta on the end here. Like so. Okay, now, stick my, well, for Pete's sakes. There it is. Okay, good. So I'm just gonna have, I just have a little microfiber cloth off to the side here, and I'm just gonna take this, the kits of the brush markers that I got had a brush watercolor, like a water brush pen in with it. So I like to get it kind of started so it's dripping a little bit. So I just squeeze it a little bit. And I'm just going to take this right to my watercolor cardstock, making sure that my tip is quite wet. And I'm just going to drag, continuing to add water. Okay. And because I've done rainbow colors, it's okay if they start to blend into one another. That's kind of what I like. Obviously, if I was just doing blues or greens, I'd have to pay a little bit more attention to what I was using or what colors and where things were going. But I didn't. I'm using rainbows, so I can blend just like the rainbow. So bringing some of that orange up into the yellow. And while I'm doing this, I'm continuing to squeeze in this little area where my thumb and my forefinger are. Continuing to squeeze gently because I don't want to add too much water, but I do want it to have some saturation because that helps to reactivate the color and move it around on the paper. And my paper is starting to bow a little bit because it is adding, we are adding a lot of water, so that's okay. Now, if you don't have these brush markers, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to have something like this. What do you have? Do you have Crayola paints from your dollar store? Do you have any kind of watercolor paint? Will do this same technique. You just have to paint it on instead. Maybe you have the Tim Holtz Distress crayons, like his new pencil crayons ones. Those are really cool to play with, I've heard. What else is there? You could do this with inks. Let's say you're just smooshing your inks or ink refills onto, onto a slick surface. All of that would work as well. Okay, so I've still got some ink here on my brush, so I'm going to kind of squeeze it out and just rub that onto my cloth. Now I've got a clean brush, and I'm just going to put this back on here, and I have a piece of, I was going to say paper towel, but it's not, it's actually just tissue. And I'm just going to come along the edge here and catch that before it dribbles and kind of pounces or runs off a little bit or pools a little too much. I don't mind a little bit of pooling. That's good. It'll be okay because it'll dry, which will be fine. Okay, and then I'm going to clean up my mess here. Now, what I want to do though is before we can go on and die cut out of this, I need to actually make sure that my paper is dry, because that won't go over well. So I'm going to use my Heat It tool, my craft Heat It tool, and I'm fairly certain I'll be able to talk to you still over the top of this blowing. So it looks like a hairdresser or a hairdresser. It looks like a hair dryer. It is not a hair dryer. This thing gets incredibly warm. Yeah, you would fry your hair if you were to try and use this for drying your hair. So please don't don't do that. So this gets just as hot as an actual barrel style heating tool. It just does it a little bit slower. So it gives you time to move your things around, gives time for the paper to actually draw the air or the water out of your paper. Yeah, it's a little less harsh on glue, things like that. So sometimes the things that you need to take a little bit of time on, this works really well for that. And I like to dry. You want to dry from both sides. Make sure then, because then it gets all layers of the paper because the water has saturated into the paper. So as I was saying, you could do this with like distress inks, any kind of ink smushing, picking it up and just watercoloring, just smushing it onto a non-porous surface. So if you have a glass mat or a silicone mat that you like to work, you just smush your pad down, add some water to it, and drag it across your paper, kind of thing. All right, up there. Okay, there we go. It's very toasty. I'm just going to take a little bit of the bend out. I'm not going to be able to get all of the bend out because it was watercolor, right? So it's going to have a little bit of, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's going to have a little bit of curl to it until I actually put some adhesive or something on the back of it. And that's okay. All right, look at these pretty colors. Like, didn't that turn out just beautiful, considering it looked like I hadn't gotten any color down at all? It's so pretty. I just love how deep and how saturated and toned the colors are. Okay, now I'm going to pull out my die cutting. Okay, so I'm going to use my Gemini. I have a Gemini Junior, and I'm going to pull out, figure out where I want my sentiment. So I'm going to cut this out right about there, I think. And just going to hold a little piece of tape. Because what I could do if I want, I don't know if I'm going to do that in the video, but what I could do is do the yay you with the sentiment with the shaker part behind it, but then I can go like have a little sub sentiment that says congratulations or you did it or celebrating you or yay you celebrate or those kind of things. So it gives me some options. So I'm just going to hold that there, but that is still going to be the main focal of our card. So I'm going to keep that in the center. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Peel off my mint tape. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got the one here, and now we've got this one. So while I'm waiting, and while I was prepping for the class, I cut out the sentiment, the yay you. I cut that out twice out of white cardstock. This is pretty sure it's 80-pound accent opaque. Okay, and I'm just going to adhere that onto my little rainbow sentiment here, just using some adhesive. I'll notice the fancy little new glue press here from my Sweet Petunia. I love it. As some of you may know, some of you may not. I really am not a big fan of the ATG gun. I just find that it runs out of tape too quickly, so that really always ticks me off. And we've had several instances of where the tape has been backwards, so you can't even use it. A friend of mine, we were out at a crop once out of town, and there were 9 rolls that people had there that ended up being backwards. I mean, it's so they were not usable. So that's kind of frustrating. So I don't like to deal with that. So and then the tape runner that I have that I liked, they've sort of discontinued, or the company doesn't carry it anymore. And the runners that I like to use then end up being a little bit more expensive. I can still get, like, it's through 3M Scrapbook Adhesives, I think is what it is, for their Grand Runner. There we go. How cute is that? And then I can just, while I'm working on this here, just take, actually, you know what I'm going to do first is I want to stick down so that I have time for it to dry. Okay. So I'm going to stick down my my little piece of acetate here. So you can see, obviously I don't need a full panel of acetate. I don't need that. There's no point. It doesn't have to go right from edge to edge. And that would be a bit of a waste. So I only need to cover the area of the opening. So I'm going to put this here so that I can continue to see it. Then I'm going to run a bead of glue. Not everybody likes to use liquid adhesive, and that's fine. What you do want to use, though, is you want to use a strong adhesive in this area to hold down your acetate. That's what you need, is you need to make sure that you are using a strong adhesive. So you could use soup wang, like score tape or something like that, red line tape, any one of those options. But for me, I'm going to give it enough time for this to dry or to adhere. So I'm going to stick that on with my little stamping blocks here, kind of hold it down so that it fully adheres underneath the opening. While I'm waiting on that, I'll just I'm gonna stick down my yay you, kind of like that. And again, this is another one where I could go congratulations, or sorry, that's almost out of frame there. So I'm gonna stick this down, probably in about this area here. And then if I had a sub sentiment, I could put yay you, congratulations, or yay you, even happy birthday could work. Whatever, something to that extent. So I don't actually need my tweezers for this one. It's thick enough. But I did do 2 layers of the white, and yeah, and then we'll have the background here. I could have cut out more layers of the background just in white to have it pop up a little bit more if I needed to, but I'm pretty happy with this, I think. Let's make sure that's mostly straight before I go and stick it down. And there we go. Yeah. That is the nice thing about using liquid glue is that you do get a minute or two to kind of shift it around if you need to. Okay. Now take one of those and just pop that onto there until it comes to the next part. All right, so let's take some of the adhesive off. So I did have a little bit of leakage on that, but that's okay. All right, so I now have my frame in here. Now to create my shaker card, what I'm going to do, this is my foam tape, okay? And I actually get mine from the dollar store. This is foam, this is photo mounting tape. So you know, what they would use to like when they're doing framing or something like that. I actually got this from Dollarama for like $1.50, I think it was. And it's really good. It's not super thick. It's only about 1 millimeter thick, maybe 2 mil thick. But in order to have a shaker card, I have to have it be slightly thicker than that. So what I've done is I have already cut out a length. So I've kind of, let me show you what I've done here. I've unraveled it here and kind of circled it to see, okay, how big is my frame? How big of a frame do I need to create of a well in order to keep my shaker bits and stuff like that in? So, and I've determined that this is about the right length. Now, what I want to do is I want to have this edge is going to be my inner edge. Okay, I want to lay it down like this because this side has less stick. This side, this rounded side, will have full stick. But I don't want that. I don't want all my shaker bits sticking to the edge. The other thing that I can do is take my, I may have seen this. This is my embossing buddy or my embossing, the thing that has the cornstarch in it. And before I peel off the tape and everything so that I'm not getting sticky or the powder over all of the stick, I'm going to take it and I'm going to run it along the edge of this to remove any stick from the edge. That way then, I'm not getting it all over this area here because I've still got the release tape or the release paper covering the edges. But now I can go and catch all of the edges there and just kind of give it a wipe. This is some sort of a cornstarch or something to that extent. A little bit unpleasant on the fingers, but that's okay. I'll live. So now I'm going to take my little cloth here and I have a baby wipe that's still damp because I don't like how that feels again on my fingers. I'm going to clean this up too because I don't really want to get this on my the acetate. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to wipe down the release paper just so that again I'm not getting that sticky stuff all over the place. Okay, I'm going to bring my let's dry that before I go and put down the watercolor. Okay, so there's my, and now I'm just going to try to pull off all of the release paper here. Because once you pull the release paper off, it makes it so much easier to maneuver this around all of the areas, like to bend and stretch the around all of the curves of what you're going to use. Okay, so all right, so again, remembering that I want to keep the straight edge as much as possible on the inside. So I'm going to kind of try and line that up. And again, of course, it's sticky, and I'm going to bend it into place. I'm turning it, maneuvering it here, just like that. And I'm going to go around the Y here. That. Now, what you do want to make sure that you're doing though is that you've got it removed enough that it's not you see behind your shadow area here, right? Or your open well reservoir, whatever you want to call it. Okay. A little bit further to go here. And then the most important thing is that you want to make sure that you are butting this up right against the previous one that you were using. It needs to be closed entirely. Otherwise, when whoever your recipient is, when they go to shake it, let go. There we go. When they go to shake it, all of your shaker bits will fall out and they'll go, and then they'll have sequins or glitter or whatever it is that you've used. They'll have that all over the place. They're not going to appreciate that. I'll tell you that much. It's not much fun picking up glitter and stuff. I like glitter and I like sequences, but I don't like to have them there. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to outline the rest of my card panel here with the doubled up adhesive, because I need to make sure that when I go to stick this down on my panel, and because this is the high point, right? So everything else that's going to be stuck down has to match that, so that when I go to put it on the front, it's all the same thickness. Okay, so I'm obviously not going to add any more adhesive in this area, but I do want to get this nicely covered so that my card is not going to be denting in and out, things like that. So for that, then I'm just going to cut these into rows, and in order to get the same thickness, I'm just going to fold this over. Now I don't need to add my embossing powder or embossing buddy, like the cornstarch thing on this, because it doesn't matter to me if it sticks in this area or not. That's fine. Okay, so let's do there. This is kind of the part that takes the longest almost. Wow, that's not true. Takes a while to just kind of prep everything, but still. Peeling your adhesive, always fun to release papers. And it's mostly just because it's sticky, right? Obviously, you want it to be sticky. So, and again, now what I want to try and do is I want to try and have the straight edge, not the folded over edge, but the straight edge facing the exterior part of my card, so that if somebody's fingers get under there, it's not sticky on this edge. Stick, 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 stick. Oh, that's gonna be close. So how is everybody's challenge with is everybody keeping up with the organization challenge? Apparently I'm not the only one who's doing this. There's a couple of the people that I follow on YouTube are participating. Some of the YouTube people, I guess is what the influencers, I guess is what they're called, are having a organization summit for free. I believe Mary Polenko is in it, Tiffany Solero, artists. I have no idea what artist's last name is, actually. That's kind of funny. But yeah, so it looks like there's a few other people that are going to be doing that, and they're doing it's a free seminar, like on Zoom, I think, something to that extent. And they're going to be presenting their storage solutions and ways that they've come up with interesting ideas and how they what they found that works for them. Because what I found is that storage is a very personal thing. You find what works for you, and what works for one person works really fabulously. It may not work for the other person, for a friend or something like that. But sometimes you really have to try things. But it's really important to pay attention to what is, how do you like to use your crafting supplies? How do, are you somebody as a paper crafter, do you only craft at home, or do you tend to travel a lot? So then ease of access, being able to put things away is going to be really important, obviously. Versus I have it here all the time. Do you like to see your supplies? Do they what's the word that I'm looking for? Do they inspire you and you need to see them in order to remember them, that you have them? Or we're not buying extras. Yeah, those are all good questions to be asking yourself as you're looking at. I think I've got a couple more today. So this is the important part, because this is what keeps your card from caving in, like the card front. So this does take a little bit of time, and it's not the funnest of jobs, but it is really important that you take the time to fully make sure that your well and that your card panel or the card topper are well enough lifted that you're not going to get a lot of places that are kind of concaving or things like that, because that's not fun. So I'm sorry that this is taking a minute or two here. All right. Okay. Okay, I think that we're good. So now what I'm going to do is I want to add my little shaker bits into this little area here. So while I'm doing it, I also want to be careful to not try and get sequins on any of the exposed adhesive, because of course this is all exposed. And the reason why I've exposed it already is because once you have all those sequins and things like that in there, as soon as you start to pull off the tapes and stuff, it kind of, everything starts jumping around and it's much easier to get. It's much easier for it to pop out. See, as you notice that the card was jumping as I was holding onto this. So I don't want these little sequences jumping out and then trying to adhere themselves to my exposed adhesive here. That's not fun, having to go in and then having to try and take those apart. So what I'm going to be using here is just a really pretty sequins mix that I thought has, you know, kind of the shades of the rainbow. So it kind of goes with the colors that I used in the watercoloring that we already did. I have no idea where I got. I think this is, I'm pretty sure this is actually just a sequins mix I got from the dollar store a while ago. There we go. And yeah, it just has really pretty colors, some bright colors. And so depending on how much stuff you like in your shaker card, I like mine to really move around. It's just a minor tap, but I kind of may have overfilled it. There we go. Good. Okay. Now I have cut a panel. So I had told you that this was this size. I think I did 3 3¾ by 5. So I took a 1/2 inch all the way off. And then this is just slightly smaller than that. And I'm going to come in and I want to stick this to the back of my panel. And I want to try and get it as straight as possible, but it doesn't have to be perfect because I can always come in with my scissors and trim. But now what I want to do is I'm going to massage my fingers all over the back so that all of that adhesive, in particular where my well is, so that all of that adhesive sticks to my the back panel. Okay. Well, look at how many colors are in there. That's so nice. So even when it's sitting like this, somebody's not using it. That didn't just come on my card because that would be funny. I don't think so. Okay, so now as I'm looking at this, most of it is pretty good, but I do notice that I've got a bit of a lip over here. So I'm just going to pull my longer set of scissors. These are just dollar store scissors, not great scissors, because this is not going to be seen. This is going to be hidden underneath. And I'm just going to cut that down, get a little bit closer to the tape. And now that's all popped up. And looking good. Okay. So I am going to stick this onto my card front like this. Okay, so yeah, so it's got a bit more of a, it's got a bit more of a border, sorry, than what I normally do. So this is, again, this is going to be an A2 card. So it's going to be 4¼ by 5½. Normally I do 5¼ by 4 for a matting, but I'm fairly certain I took a 1/2 inch off each side. So this is 3¾ by 5, so that I have a slightly bigger mat around it. Okay, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some adhesive. Alrighty. And I'm going to stick that down. Trying to get it fairly centered. There we go. And I'm just going to put some pressure on it like that. And I'm going to put these on too to hold it down until the glue is activated and really holding on. So while I'm doing that, Now what I'm going to do to finish off this card is I'm just going to add a little bit. I've got some flat backed. Oh, I almost opened that. That would have. Oh, I've got some flat backed pearls here, and I think I'm going to use this one. And these I think I actually got from AliExpress, but you can often find, I think these flat backed ones, you can find similar ones from like Crafty Meraki is a company, or Studio Katya is another one. They have beautiful, beautiful pearls and things like that. Tweezers. Okay. So now I'm just going to pick out some colors that kind of match. So I've got this really pretty blue, and I think that's the pink. But the pink didn't really come out, so we've kind of got an orange. So I might not use the pink because the pink is on the card itself. Okay, so we've got orange, and I've got a really pretty green, like that. A little yellow. Yellow. Yeah, that's good. Okay, green, blues. Okay. That's not bad, hey? I have a blue. Oh yeah, I do. I'm starting one right there. Okay, so while I'm waiting on that, well, I'm waiting for that one to set. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to arrange my jewels here. I'm going to come a little over here, a little bit more like that. So I'm trying to get, so this is closer to where the orange is, the yellow, and then the green. So unless I did that. Oh yeah, actually I like that better. Okay, and so I'm just basically trying to have the colors of the pearls kind of where the colors of the colors of the watercoloring that we had done, or that I guess you guys didn't do it, but that I had done already. And I'm just gonna pick them up and stick them down. Oh, I need a little bit more under there. No, maybe not. Nope. It's cute. So, and what's nice is that I still am leaving myself room for that sub sentiment there if I want, because I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. It's ginormous, so let's put a big thing of blue under there. Okay. I'm just going to use my finger to kind of push them down a little bit, make sure they're setting. Okay, so that's going to be one card. Now let's go back to this one, and we're going to add in our little yay you. Yay you. So we need some adhesive. So again, this could be done with any kind of die that has a shadow, essentially. And basically you need the shadow in order to create the well, right? So that that's going to be where your focal point is. So whether it's a sentiment or maybe, yeah, if you saw the see-through card that I did, the see-through card video, I had a set of hearts that has like a shadow to it almost. That would work, something like that. Yeah, anything in that kind of realm would work. Now we're going to be able to put a few more colors on here because as you can see, we've got a lot more color versus what got cut out, right? Like, so we only have this mid part of the rainbow on here where the Yeyu is. But on this one, we've got all the way from the pink all the way to the indigo kind of color. So let's see what we can get. We've got a ginormous orange. Kind of got this lighter pink color. That's kind of nice. How about, do I have a red? Red or is that one? Yeah, there we go. So red. Don't know if I'm going to do the green. I might not do a green. I might just do a blue. If I can find a blue. Yeah, it's light blue. Blue and a darker purple. There you. There we go. Darker purple, and then I think we got the magenta. There we go. The lilac-y color. Like that. Okay, so now what I want to try and do is I want to put these into like a formation of a triangle-ish. Kind of get the, oh, I need a green because I've got 4, 6, and 6. Rather have them colored or odd numbers, and our minds prefer odd numbers. Oh, I'm missing a yellow too in here. Maybe we'll get rid of that big large one. Actually, I quite like that. That's not bad. Okay, so before I go and change my mind, let's go and stick them down. Ever watch Kathy Zilski? She picks these all up and then goes, boop. In fact, she actually created a die for Simon's stamp that says boop. So it's kind of funny there. Because this, while you're focused doing this, as you're like filming and you focus doing this, it gets really quiet. I'm very aware of a lot of noises happening or not happening as it goes. Okay, well, those are going to be the 2 cards that you did today. I'm actually going to put these back in here before I go and knock them over as I had done in a previous video. Okay. All right, that one has a girl stuck in it, so we'll do that. All right, now, so those are the cards for today. It's our twofer, so creating a shaker card, get that fun sound, and you get these beautiful results. So again, using any kind of inks that you have, any kind of dye-based inks, watercolor, even the Crayola like paints that you can get, kids paints. What have your kiddos got at home? You know, give those a go because they will work like a hot diggity. Just need a regular paintbrush and some watercolor card. That you do want to make sure that whatever you're using for this, you do want watercolor card for your top layer, just because you'll be using so much water on it. Regular cardstock likely will not hold up to it. So that's what I would suggest, is making sure that you're using that. That's going to be our video today. I hope everybody really enjoyed the technique. I hope you have fun, bring some color in. It is getting to be spring, it's beginning of April. So I don't know about you guys, but we did get snow the last couple of days again. So it is nice to start bringing in some fun colors and starting to come out of the dark and bringing back the light, etc., and colors in spring. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me today. Again, I hope you enjoyed the technique. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Keep it kind. But other than that, I'm happy to hear or answer any questions that I can. Please like the video, subscribe, comment if you'd like. That would be wonderful. Share it with your friends too. Anyway, take care, and we will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.